Joining me now is Dipti Vachani. She is the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Automotive Line of Business for ARM. Welcome, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, the first big question for you is, what is the biggest impact that software-defined vehicles will have on mobility? We're going to start with the big one.
Wow. So with the big question, we got to scale back a little bit and ask the big answer, right? At the end of the day, the two different challenges that the OEMs are struggling with is scalability. How do I get all of these features out into all of these cars and in a methodology which impacts hundreds of millions of vehicles on the ground? And number two, I talked about how R&D is going up for the vehicle, right? If you think about the 100 million lines of code, maybe 5 or 10x that for a fully autonomous vehicles. Translate that in your head to dollars, right? And the electronics of a car are going up. So the R&D of a car is going up. We need to find new business models because we've got to make ends meet at the end of the day. Making ends meet means new business models. Consumers, we know, are willing to pay. We're willing to pay for new features, new capabilities of the car. It's like Christmas Day. They get new features every time a software is released. So it's an opportunity for the OEMs to have a continuous engagement with the consumer, as well as have new business models, which is going to be necessary in this new world of costs going up.
So going off what you just said, what is the biggest or are the biggest challenges going forward for the automotive industry?
Well, the biggest challenges come in the fact that there's a culmination of multiple things, and they're actually all separate. We kind of think of them all, and most of the times people think of them, they all come together in their heads. Like, of course, the new autonomous car or the new autonomous features car is going to be electric. Those are two separate things. One's a powertrain problem, and then the other one's a central compute problem. And then add to that the third component, which is I want entertainment. I want it to entertain me. I want all these applications. I want movies to play, right? Things like that. That's the user experience. And so as all of this comes together in our minds when we talk about the overall totality of the experience of a car, from an OEM standpoint, these are three massive undertakings, massive grounds up development that has to happen. And having to deal with all of that coming together is a pretty complex environment.
So it sounds like innovation will really be key to SDV application. Why is diversity important in new innovation?
Oh gosh, this is something I'm extremely, extremely passionate about. The only way we make technology that's applicable to a diverse world, which we all know that it is to have diverse people making it. It's that simple. Who are they testing it on? What was their frame of reference? Those are the questions you ask. And then you have a diverse team creating it. It's innately going to consider diversity. So of course we want inclusion. Of course we want more women and diverse candidates in this industry because that expands our engineering pool. But more importantly than that, we need those folks that are diverse making this technology, or the technology will not work.
So that kind of brings me to my next question. Everything that you've just said and talked about prior, cars are complicated. They were complicated before, they're even more complicated now. Have there been any surprises for you in working in the automotive industry?
So I've been in this, I'm going to age myself a little bit here. I've been in this space for quite a long time. And I talked about the fact that I say my first technology in the automotive space is trying to move from analog amplifiers to digital amplifiers. And it was a fight to get the industry to embrace digital amplification instead of analog. And I know that sounds like, well, of course it's going to be digital, but it was hard to embrace. And I come back to the automotive industry, and at the speed which with the automotive industry is embracing new technology is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deployment, continuous deployment, cloud to edge, all of these things are happening almost first in automotive before the rest of the world. If you want to work on the latest and greatest technology, automotive's the place to be. And it's cool to say that again, right? And that's fun to be in an industry that's doing that.
Dipti Vachani, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.